evening, wherever you are joining us, world. You are here with the Women Let's Talk About It corner with the Mom Link. We bring you this real talk, real candid talk from female entrepreneurs from around the globe, brought to you by the Mom Link, a community all about women supporting women in business, everything about collaboration, canceling this culture of competition, and instead kicking open our own doors of opportunity through the power of supporting women in business. And today we have an incredible guest with us, another mompreneur, powerhouse woman, female entrepreneur, killing it, pushing through and leading the way and leading by example here with us today, supporting each other here. We have Dr. Tavis with us. Welcome, Dr. Tavis. And of course, let me introduce myself. My name is Crystal Almeida. I'm the CEO and founder of the Mom Link, this incredible community. And with me, as usual, Camille Jones, the Director of Education and Programming with the Mom Link. Let's jump right into this conversation. Today, we were talking a little bit about community, about entrepreneurship, about the power of community, and getting real, and also talking about funding in businesses and how we can secure some funding and find unique, creative ways to get the funding you deserve in your business and to really get you headed in the right direction. So I'm going to pause there. I want to pass over the mic to Dr. Tavis. Let's jump right into this. And I would love to hear, not just myself, but I know our whole community would love to hear a little bit about you, Dr. Tavis, how you heard about the Mom Link, and what are you up to in serving other female entrepreneurs in the world?
Absolutely. I am Dr. Tavis Taylor. I am a business strategist. And in my parenting world, they call me the transparent mom. I've written 20 books, but 4 of those are parenting books. And so I have a community of moms, the Millionaire Mompreneur Hub, and we're also on Clubhouse. And so we've been showing up strong in that particular area for about 3 years. But my plight with helping moms started over 20 years ago with my first nonprofit, Dream Girls Inc. Every single mother deserves a second chance. And so it started many moons ago. What I'm doing now, though, is I have the Millionaire Mompreneur Hub. We have conferences, workshops. I am helping moms literally smack dab in the middle of a recession find purpose, launch coaching businesses, coaching programs, and some of them are even have leapt over into 6 figures in their day-to-day businesses as well. So they are multifaceted. They are in the marketplace, and they're also mompreneurs.
Well, I love that. So we are in a perfect alignment. We totally understand the world in which we're working in and the impact that we're creating. So Dr. Tavis, I love hearing that. I know you said you started off with single entrepreneurs, single mom entrepreneurs, but you tell me a little bit about the need that you identified in building community, the pivot that you took, and why you chose to make that pivot.
So as a mom, I'm a single mom of 2 amazing brown boys. They are 25 and 14. And if you would have told me even in childhood or growing up that I would be a single mom, period, a mom, period, I would have told you, no, you're crazy. And so as life happens, I'm a single mom, 2 boys that are really dependent on me. And I knew that a 9-to-5 wouldn't be enough for them. I looked up one day and one was in college and the other one was in private school. And I needed to create an income that would be conducive for me to be flexible in my scheduling. And so having said that, I was able to obtain my coaching certification and just tap into my inner genius. Well, what I realized is I wasn't the only one. That there are so many moms out there who need an additional income for those that are in career fields and those that are 100% entrepreneurs. They need multiple streams. And so when God gave me the revelation and I learned how to do it, I'm just like, I'm going to tell everybody that you have the opportunity to be at lacrosse practice, right? My son was at lacrosse practice. I'm taking pictures of him with one phone and I made $1,500 coaching with the next. And so that's kind of been my plight. Once I found out about it and what to do, especially in the online space, I have vowed to show and help at least 10,034 moms by 2030 make $10,000 in their business.
Ooh, I love that goal. And do you know what I love about that goal so much? What a realistic goal. You know, oftentimes we hear some goals like, I'm going to, hit 1 million women. Like, 1 million's a big goal. Not to say it's not a good one. It's a great goal. But I love that goal, Dr. Tavis. That's incredible. And something tangible. You know, one thing we see in entrepreneurship are empty promises a lot, right? And this will drive me into my next question for you, because this is you know, touches home for me. MomLink's a community-based business. We found a need for women and female entrepreneurs that needed community, that needed someone to actually say, this is the formula, this is how you get there. And one of the things that you say, you are being so realistic. Like, I'm going to help you become a millionaire. I'm going to first help you make $10,000 in your business. And I like that, because a lot of things that we see that we are, you know, we see people selling out there sometimes is like, I'm going to make you a millionaire. I'm going to make you you know, a 6-7 figure business in the first 6 months. And let's be honest, and let's be realistic. Can that happen? Yes. But it's kind of very far and few between there where that actually is the reality. Entrepreneurship is difficult. Being a mompreneur, balancing work life and having kids and building a 7-figure business in less than a year is kind of like hitting the lottery. So I love that your message, right? No, it's true. And I wish more people were to say that. Like, that's the honest truth. It's hard work. Just actually carving that out and making small goals and an accomplishment, making your first 10 grand in your business is huge. So I love that you touch upon that. And tell me one thing though, Dr. Tavis, building a community is not like building your own business. Just you selling your program, selling your coaching, like building a business, building a community-based business is a whole nother beast. So jump into really what makes you dedicated to actually building community, to creating a community, because you could help one woman at a time, but why have you put it at the forefront to actually incorporate the community aspect in your leadership?
So, well, I will tell you this: when you're leading a community, it's like no small task, and so it takes like navigating a ship of stormy, murky waters. I will tell you this: my father believes in me so much, or believed in me before he passed away so much, that he tells stories as a little girl. I would always be like, come on, y'all. There's always been a y'all facet to my life, because I just believe that we all can achieve greatness at the same time. I believe whether you're an introvert or an extrovert or a dreamer or a realist, that there is a place for everybody. And just like we have, our fingerprints are all totally different, then our mindsets and the things that we've been placed in this earth to accomplish, I just believe with my heart of hearts that we can all do it. And you know, if you go to the Sahara Desert right now, we're standing beside each other, the sun is going to shine on all of us at the same time. And so as a leader, I believe in connecting to the group, listening to the group, adapting as necessary, and then building a purposeful community. People come, people go. But at the heart of the matter, I believe that we can all work as one and build a community. And that's what I built my community on. I've done it from day one, from my first nonprofit to I have several more nonprofits. And I just believe in community, because there's so much greatness in having more than one person, and you don't have to carry the burden all by yourself. So I just believe it's doable.
Okay, so Dr. Tavis, Camille just came and visited me. We actually live in Canada. The MomLink's a global community. Camille just came down. She's about 3 hours away. She's got 2 kids, or she's got 3 kids, but she brought 2 with her. I have 2 little boys, and we came together. And do you know what I said to Camille? And maybe this is like so not okay for me to say, but I'm going to say it anyways. There's something to be said about sister wives and living in community, because it takes a village. It takes a village to raise kids. It has always taken a village. We know this. And the same thing, I believe, is true in entrepreneurship. Like, entrepreneurship is such a lonely game. And when you bring involved community, we are so much stronger together. You know, anything that we've seen, major transformation, major impact in the world, when there's disaster relief, is it one person that's relieving people from a disaster situation? No, it's the world coming together. When we have stopped a war happening, when we have, help, whatever the case is, it's mobilizing a group of people who care about one common goal together. And that's when change in the world really occurs. And I believe the same to be true with entrepreneurship. Just like you said, mompreneur is like, if we bring us together in community, people may come, they will go, but the essence is always there. And there's always a place to come back to. So I love that you said that. And Camille, like, jump in and tell me, like, what are your thoughts in terms of, as an entrepreneur, as a mompreneur, not having a village, not having a community? Why kind of, when we were together, having 4 kids instead of having 2 kids trying to do the same job every day, why was it easier for us having each other together, but now we have double the kids? Like, why was that easier for us?
Well, first and foremost, it's easier because the kids are minding themselves, as we West Indian people say. They're minding themselves. So they had new partners to play with, which is out of their norm, which is the regular siblings. But that's obviously here nor there. But what it is the fact that we're able to piggyback off of each other when our emotions may go left or right, or even when we have an idea, we can instantly go into that idea, elaborate on it more right then and there. And that's what's great about having that community, is because now, those thoughts that we may have that sometimes have guided us in the wrong direction because that's what we're following. When we're a part of a community, we have people that understand our goals, that are working alongside with us and want to see us thrive. So they're going to call us out. They're going to hold us accountable. They're going to be able to give us the support that we need when we're feeling like our back's against the wall. And when we have a lot of kids, we're going to put them all together and let them mind themselves so that mommies can get stuff done. Right? So there's power when we can collectively come together. And I even was listening to this audio the other day, and the gentleman actually said, it was a gentleman, and he said, us entrepreneurs need to understand that we don't have to and should not be doing business alone just because entrepreneurship and self-employment sounds like it's a solo gig. It's not. It's not, because we need to have that community on those times, again, when our emotions are even to piggyback off of ideas. And when you have somebody cheering you on the sidelines, that truly is cheering you on, it encourages you to keep on going, right? Just like, that's why they have cheerleaders. The whole purpose is not just for them to shake their pom-poms, but it's to get everybody going and motivated and inspired, especially when that team needs that extra kick. And that's what a community is, especially ones where we're able to relate. We may not have the same experiences. We may be different ages, different creeds, live in different locations. But one thing that comes true when it comes to us women, that's what we are, women. And we can better understand ourselves even when we need that extra push. We don't need you to fix it. We need that push and be seen, be heard, be understood. And that's what I love about community. And that's what great leaders in communities bring. They bring their members, like the Pied Piper, collectively together to see their greatness, and not only make them just members, but also make them leaders within their own stance in their communities, in their households, and everything else. So that's what I just love in this conversation.
You know what, Camille, you talk about leadership, and let's head in that direction. So we talked about, why community, why have a community, why build a community. I say all the time, Dr. Tavis, to any entrepreneur out there, if you're still calling your clients instead of referring to them as your community members, like, there's power in any sales industry, in any type of business industry, to actually start treating your clients as community. I think there's a retention strategy when you actually have clientele as your community and make them feel more instead of just a number or a sale. However, if we talk about leadership, it really does take a unique type of leader to build, run, sustain, and retain a community. And one of the things we talk about in the Mom Link all the time is walking that talk, leading by example. And I'm a huge proponent of, trying our times in life, whether it's professional or just personally, standing up, even if it means standing alone, and leading by example when it's so difficult to do so. So, Dr. Tavis, let me know, what does that mean to you, leading by example in your community? And tell me a little bit of kind of how you've maybe been challenged to do that in times throughout your journey in community building.
Oh wow. I'll tell you this. Trust and confidence are the cornerstones that I stand on. Any type of community, if you're going to be a leader, if you're going to be effective, you have to exude being authentic, being real, and being vulnerable. You have to show your imperfections, not to the point where people get so familiar that they are disrespectful, but they can reverence your transparency enough that you let them know you're not hiding anything, but it also shows them that they can move past something, right? What they're going through. And you have to be an active listener. You have to be able to listen to what your community, what they are saying and what they are not saying. And so you got to understand that sometimes you're this bridge, right? So a lot of times as a leader, we don't realize we're the bridge of hope, the bridge of understanding, the bridge of consistency, the bridge of reliability, the bridge of dependability. We are the bridge that gets them from either being stuck, from being from place A to place B. We are bridges. And if you can see yourself as a bridge, there are a lot of things that fall up under that encompasses that. So one of the secret sauces to leadership is trust and confidence. And when someone can trust you and they have the confidence that you're not lying to them, you've got to think about it. A lot of moms, whether married or single, have uh, um, mom issues, relationship issues, mom guilt, and all of those things. And to have somebody say, "Hey, I dealt with that," but let me tell you, hey, I was angry with my son's father. I was angry with my husband, but we had to work through that. And being able to hear that, people are tired of fluff and tough. So it's your authenticity and your confidentiality and comfortability that's going to help people. And at least I know that's what my tribe and my community throughout the years have always said, and not even from you keep it real, because keep it real sometimes can be like a little, but being transparent in a way that people can still be respectful, because I've walked through some things. So those are a couple of things that I think it takes to build community. Without those things, you become them. And we were not built. You didn't build your business and your brand and even the mom link to become them. You build businesses and brands so that you can bring other people up to where you are, and you find people that can lift you up higher as you're lifting them up. And so it's so important that all of that takes place. And I think those are just some of the key components of being a great leader, having an awesome community.
Yes.
Okay, so you said something, and this is Women Let's Talk About It. This is raw, real, candid conversation. So I'm going to ask you this. I love what you said about being authentic and keeping it real. And sometimes keeping it real, you said it can be So I want to hear, let's give some like tips to people, because I think people struggle. And I'll be the first to admit, when I first started off, I was not keeping it real. I wasn't showing up authentically because I was assuming I had to portray to be up here, right? And so it was causing my own stuff anyways. So that authenticity thing, then I went the complete opposite direction. I overshared. I kept it real. And I'm not sure that was serving me or serving my community. And now I'm at a place where I totally get what you're saying. I live completely authentic. I approach our community with complete trust. I am honest with our community. I am confident in our community. So I've completely changed, but I went through that transformation. So give some tips to any other female entrepreneurs and leaders who are listening in on what's the difference between the two. How do you navigate between being so authentically yourself, but not completely leaving yourself vulnerable and bare, but also not putting yourself in that ick position by keeping it too real? Does that make sense, Dr.
Absolutely,
Tavish?
absolutely. So here is the thing. I think you should know that I'm a pastor and I operate in inner healing and deliverance. And so I've gone through therapy. I've gone through inner healing and deliverance. I have dealt with the ugly stuff. I dealt with the molestation, the rape, the betrayal, the hurt. I dealt with it for years. And so once you are healed, or you're operating from a healed place, then you don't bleed on people. Because what you don't want to do is to become a part of a Me Too movement. You're having a bad day and you tell the group, "Oh my gosh, me too. Oh my gosh, me too." No, you want to have a safe place as a leader where you can somebody can pour into you that you trust, and they can say, "Hey, Crystal, it's time for you to share that." Or, "Hey, Crystal, not right now. It's too fresh. You need to heal a little bit more. So that comes from me having awesome mentors and coaches in my life to help me navigate. But I've done a lot of self work. When I say a lot of self work, I've done a lot of self work. Sometimes we want to, especially with social media, we want to get out there and we want to help people who were women that were in domestic violence. We want to help women who are divorced. We want to help women whose husbands cheated, married, whatever the case may be. And we haven't gone through an authentic healing process. And when you don't heal, that's when I shared too much, because you keep it too real. And if your clients and your community is going to trust you, then you have to get to a place where you share, but you share from a healed place. You may not know what that looks like, but having awesome and amazing people in your circle, you're the ones that hold your shoulders up to say, hey, it's not time for that. Or, hey, let somebody else take over for a little while. You need to heal. When you can have that, that's when you know when to share, what to share, and how to share. Plus, I try to live a life, because I'm so transparent. I try to live a life conducive to the community that I serve. So it's certain things I don't do, right? I'm not on dates with 5 million men, because that's not what I promote. I'm not out drinking and partying. That's not what I stand for. I live the life internally. Plus, I have 2 boys that would tell on me. I live the life, they will. I live the life that I preach. I live the life that I teach, and I live it behind closed doors. And so it's easy for me to be authentic, because I'm not hiding it. I don't have anything to hide. Sometimes we're leading, but we haven't healed, and we're still involved in certain things. And it'll start seeping out. People will know when you haven't healed. They will know when you're going from a hurt place. All things aren't meant to be shared just yet, but some things need to be as it affects you. Like, we're doing that 21-day financial fast. I told my team, before I came on, I said, look, I don't like this. I don't like it. I'm kicking and screaming, and I have a problem that I picked this book. And I try to pray to pick the book. And I was like, we're day 4 in, and I want to quit. Now, I said it, and I'm done with it, but I will continue. They appreciated that, right? Because they don't want to do it either. So you have to know when to share and what to share, and when to get therapy and counseling yourself as a leader, so that you're not leading and bleeding on the people, and you be a part of the Me Too movement. Because this is what we have to understand as leaders. And I had to learn this the hard way. Even those that you trust the most are looking at you. Even those that you're vulnerable in front of, they're looking at you. And so you've got to live a life even with your inner circle, so that they don't become so familiar with you that they disrespect the place and the position that you have. I hope that helps.
I just to know me, to know that I'm queen of talking on mute. So I'm like, oh, that was powerful. No, I love what you said about that. And I love that you're taking your own ministry for us to really be authentic, be genuine, and to really know that we can be authentic and genuine in a safe space and around individuals that really want to see us grow. But we have to know that we have to do the work, we have to show up. That's the key too. Like, all the leaders are there for us, the community's there, but we also have to do the work, and also know that there's going to be highs and lows. And it's for that community and the leaders in the community, because again, the community is all about building other leaders, is to navigate through all those times. And I love that we have those opportunities through our own experiences, and what the reflection that we want to have for our, just like you said, your boys are telling you. It's funny that you said that. I had to laugh at that, because my son, we're Caribbean, and we're from Trinidad, and we have a big carnival festival that comes here in Caravana. And my son flat out told me, that ship has sailed, Mom. It's not happening for you. I don't want to. There's no right for you to, just because the costume has glitter doesn't mean it is an underwear and a bra. And this is not what I want to see. Maybe even start to think about how much me as a woman changes. And exactly what you said, people that we love are watching. There are so many people that are there are people that obviously are like waiting to say, see, I told you. And there's a whole bunch more though. I always say they're going, you got this. You got this. Even if they are not saying it, they're not saying it out loud. They're saying it with their eyes. They're saying it by even scrolling past your work or visiting your page. And I know that we may not see it as the producers of the content, but when we have that community that is being able to push us and to really keep us to stay consistent, to be repetitive, Remember what we've always been told, that if we show up for ourselves, we're actually showing up for others so much more. But the problem is that ourself seems to get in the way because we get caught up on the 10% of people saying, waiting for us to say, "I told you so." But that's a minute part. And I love that you again are using your own word. You're using the, you know what? It's the whole power of the unknown, which is faith. We put so much energy into the other F word, which is also unknown, fear. But when we move it, transition it to faith, and even aligning it with our community, with our beliefs, with our goals, and having that leader to really push us and to see that we're going to see leaders go come and go up and down. And I love that you said that even leaders need to have that DND, but with respect. What I mean by that is when we go on Do Not Disturb, it's not like we're going to Do Not Disturb and nobody sees you. We say it's a time out where we're saying, hey, community, I love you so very much that I'm going to take out that time. 2 days. I'm even going to give you a deadline. I'm going to be smart with this because we're a community and we are leaders. And I need to show you that even leaders need to take a time out, but we also still have that deadline to come back and show up in our optimal state. So I love that you said that we do need to take those times to work on ourselves, to really know if we need to get that extra help of coach or therapy, or, take that time with your kids. That's okay. We understand. The DND is more than fine. We just need communication, and that's what the whole thing about community is all about too. When we feel confident enough to have that communication, we get that greater understanding of the power of the pause, which will heighten the unknown of faith that we always have within us, but the fear tries to come in our way. So I appreciate, Dr. Tavis, that you did say talk about that. Even leaders need to ask for help and even get help themselves. But we also need to show up.
And, I think it's when we talk about when you touched upon leaders serving from a place of healing instead of, sharing from a place of wounds. Now, don't get it twisted. If you're listening in and you're a leader and you're like, oh my goodness, I may have just dumped on my community, or I may have just shared from, every single leader does it, and you'll continue to experience it, and you'll continue to wonder, is the time now to share? But I will tell you, and Dr. Tavis, tell me, Camille, Dr. Tavis, tell me if this lands with you. I have so many stories in my back pocket that I can't wait to share one day. I'm like, it's going to be part of my book. It's going to be part of my journey. I'm going to impact the world when I share this story, but not yet. Everything has a time, a season, a place, and a space. And when that time comes, you'll feel it. But ladies, do you have some stories in your back pocket you can't wait to share one day?
Oh, I definitely, you know what? I definitely do. And I've actually taken it here and there, because the other day I was speaking with a prospect and I was telling her about the name of my business, We Got This, and how it came about. Another aspect of it, because I felt very comfortable with her and I just told it to her. And she's like, Camille, do you know how many people need to hear that story? So why are you keeping it in your back pocket? When is that time? So as you said, you're going to feel that time, but also understand people nowadays, especially coming off of the pandemic, especially the fact that we're now all digital and AI, we are yearning for authenticity. And screw that word authenticity, because I'm sick of it too. I'm going to keep it real, because this is Let's Talk About a Corner, and this is how I talk on this stage. I was always supposed to, because I don't always want to be business, because that's not real life. The whole point of Let's Talk About It and all of this is to understand that we're going to have our highs and lows. We're going to have stories that we may feel like we feel like maybe it's not the time, or maybe we shouldn't do it, or maybe we couldn't do it. But people want to hear you. They want to hear those stories, because while you're keeping them in their pocket, these people have the same similar stories, and it's weighing on their head, and they're feeling like as if the life is over, like it's only them going through it. But when I spoke to that lady and I told her what mental health I went through with my mom, and it changed, that whole conversation changed to the strength that experience made me go through. That client was like, Camille, this is why I contacted you. Not because I saw you working out, not because you have an amazing body, but because I saw that passion. And now I understand that passion through the story you just told me. So my answer to you, to that question now is, all of the ammo I was keeping in, Pow, 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 pow. I'm using this power for what I'm using him. Straight up. This is what, no more business and people are, this is what we got over the last 3 years. Keep it authentic, keep it real. You're even seeing changes in people's content where it's not being as formal and as business. Now you're seeing people, if my bra showing, it is. Because that's what people need to see in this era that we're in. In this era we're in, we need to bring back that human base into the business. And you'll see, like the Pied Piper, it will all fall into place. Just don't go into the ocean after, you know.
Well, Camille, as you're speaking, I'm just smiling because you do the work, though.
Yeah.
You show up and you do the work. And the confidence that you just said that in wasn't a confidence from pain. You didn't speak from a place of pain. You didn't sound like a victim. You sounded like somebody that's been victorious, and I went through some stuff, and the
liberated
is this is what it is. That's what I'm talking about. That's from a healed place.
Absolutely. And you know what? That healed place, I'll say this, Dr. Tavis, and I'll say it again, because this is Let's Keep It Real corner. That healed place came from me getting uncomfortable. It came from me going around women that I never would have even fathomed to. When I first went around them, I had that mask on. I played that game, what I thought everybody wanted, until I started to look around and saw that was draining and it wasn't getting me anywhere. So that's why even in the community, if you're not even too sure what a community is about or what have you, just do it. Go and just get yourself comfortable, because when you are able to be your authentic self, you are able to even find different outlets. Like my outlet now is I speak up. Now. And it really it came from, I was tired. I was trying to come up. I come from my past life of financial advisor, stuff you have to talk like this, talk about taxes and how to get your pension in order so that the tax, all that kind of stuff, and be like this. And I was in a very heavily white male dominant industry. Mm-hmm. So of course, Camille had her hair in a bun up like this, all looking all professional, cute, no, still cute, but professional. But again, once I started to actually not even use that word authentic, just being Camille. I am Camille. That's how I always start off my talks now. I am Camille. Not anything else. Yes, I'm a mom. I'm this and that. I'm Camille. And that's how I label myself. If you want to label yourself something different than what your parents called you, that's sure. But I go with what I labeled myself at first. And once I stood in that power, that's where that came from. But again, it all derived from being around other leaders. It all derived from me leveling up in places I didn't think I needed to level up in. I was only focused on what I thought my problem was in my business. So I realized that there was so much more to it. And that's what community brings. It brings so much more. That accountability, that support, that Camille, get out of your head. Or what is ChatGPT? Knowledge. That's the word. I was going to say acknowledgement. Knowledge, all of that. So even Dr. Tavis, you know what? I'm going to say this too. You know what community also brings? Another way that we all connected to was during a time of conflict in a community, right? We experienced a conflict in a community by only one. It's crazy how one seed can really just, if you allow it to. If you allow it to, yes, that seed can multiply, but if you catch it by its root and not even just snip it from the bottom, like when we were weeding the other day in the backyard with my husband, I'm seeing my husband driving me nuts. He's like hacking at it, like, yeah, I'm getting everything done. I'm doing it. I'm like, dude, what about the root? It's going to come right back. Right? So that's how I see that. We came into a conflict where that seed tried to get rooted into our community and tried to poison other flowers around us. But because we all have the understanding of how communities run and who we are and how we've shown up for so long, that when that seed tried to come and make its way, plant itself in, even Dr. Tavis, we had so many other people came right to there without even asking, hello. That's what a community also does, is communities also fight for other communities when they see something that's not right. And that's another thing I wanted to thank you, because that's the one question that we do have for you is, when conflicts arise in a community, how does a competent leadership approach the resolution and promote positivity? And that's where I'm segueing this to, because Dr. Tavis, this she came out saying, listen to me. Everybody, first of all, let's get some Jesus in here, and we are going to get to the bottom of this, because this is not how business runs. And the one thing that we learned about business, what I've learned about business, is whenever I see a bully, when somebody is attacking somebody personal on their personal side, that's when I question. That's when I step back and say, you know what, my energy, if it's a personal attack on a business, when it comes to business, red flag. But what affirmed and validated that red flag, and throw it over to you now, Dr. Tablets. I would love for you to talk about that conflict in communities in general. Is when that red flag arises, you affirmed it and confirmed it. So thank you very much for that, standing up without being called up. Let's go.
Well, listen, here's the thing about conflict. So conflict is inevitable, right? And I think for me, because I have two sisters and our parents allowed us to voice our opinion, I don't necessarily see conflict as bad. It's an opportunity for growth. It's an opportunity to create a space for dialogue and communication and accepting others, but it's also an opportunity for healing. It's a space where you can. I remember when you shared that day, Crystal. But it was a space where I was over it. I was like, okay, God, what are we doing? Why do you keep? And to hear that, wait a second. Sometimes as leaders, conflict let us know you're not the only one, and that you're not crazy, and that this is how this person may have handled it. And so, okay, you're not crazy, so you can keep going, because when you don't hide that stuff, and your community has said, hey, when you came and shared that day, your community said, we got your back. And for some reason, I was in that space. I think because of God. I mean, that's my belief. But it also gave me the boost that I needed, your vulnerability in a place where you could support. There's nothing better than being vulnerable in a place where you got people that said, I got your back, and I dare anybody to say anything. You get to live your authentic, real, and true self, and you get to heal as well as allow and assist others in healing.
I'm sorry. I gotta just chime in here right now, because
be right back crying.
Because you know what? I'm gonna keep it real with y'all. Honestly, and I'm not even trying to be like funny right now. I am, because this is Camille. I am Camille. I gotta get my lashes done this afternoon.
You like me?
I thought you were going to tell this like heartfelt story, and you're like, I gotta get my lashes.
That means I can cry today because my lashes
right
getting them done. That's the language, Crystal. Come on. I mean, it's okay for me to cry now because I'm getting my lashes done. Yeah, I know that language.
This is what I'm talking about, community. Even when one doesn't get the joke.
The jokes always fly over.
That's why I love you, Crystal, because Crystal is such an analytical thinker that she's thinking about, time. Yeah, but in all honesty, my lashes also needs to be done, because over this last week, I have said, love it, not F it, love it. I'm just gonna be who I am. And if it means that it's going to make me cry because I'm happy, I'm going to cry. If it means that my kids are screaming and it's making me go crazy, I'm just going to release and cry and go, I got this. But what I'm not going to do is I'm not going to hear any more of these business people saying, don't show emotion. You come up as a bulldog or whatever. Don't do that. No, I'm going to show up as me. Because I'll tell you something, ever since I decided to do that over these last 2 weeks, it's like the universe, God, my creator, everything has just been coming to me. So many opportunities. And I just smile. And even when I'm crying, and even when I'm smiling, sometimes my limited thought comes by me. It comes by me, but then I stop. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I could cry. And while I'm crying, I'm going to send out my gratitude to this community, because we have group chats that I could just write. And I can just write whatever. And they all read my writing as, oh, there goes Camille, woo, woo, woo. But what Camille's doing is she's releasing all of the joy, the pain, the sorrow, everything out, so that she could come back even stronger. And I'm not going to hide it anymore. And every time I've done that, God, the universe, everything, me, Camille Naisha Jones. I even said my middle name. Please, nobody record this before you guys get all my socials now. My husband's like, never use their full name. But I just did, because I'm being authentic with you all. And it's okay to cry and to be in that community that understands it. So,
can I tell you something? So what has happened is what community does, and this is, tapping into my neuropsychology degree. What community does is it reprograms your reticular activating system part of your brain. And so your brain is starting to filter that it's okay to be you. And all too often, we're raised with all of these labels. Your girl, do this, do that, do this, get the degree, go do this, go do that. And all of these labels sometimes can leave you sitting on the edge of your bed in a bag of brokenness and emptiness. And so when you meet a community that starts to reprogram your brain that it's okay to be you, it's okay to be great. They used to call me question mark because I asked so many questions. Well, guess what? I interview people now and I ask questions, and it's okay to be question mark. And it's okay to be loud if you're loud and an introvert if you're introvert. But community allows you to reprogram your brain so that you get to be free and you get to be you. And when you can really embrace, you see community totally different. Come heck or high water. If I can get to my community when I've had a bad day, if I can go to one of those, because we do a lot of private clubhouses, if I can get to the private clubhouse group and only 3 people that's in my private group see me and they can come on, hey, Dr. Tavis, what are you thinking? And I can give a download to somebody. And it's okay for me to be great. It's okay for me to be vulnerable. It's okay for me not to like what's happening. And I got a safe place I can say it. That's reprogramming your brain that it's okay to be me. Nobody else. I get to show up as me, and you get to show up as you, and we embrace each other. And then that's where as the gardener, right? Because we're the gardeners as leaders, the flowers can just blossom and bloom and blossom and bloom and blossom and bloom. And you're a flower, and you're blossoming and blooming as well. Because guess what? You've realized it's okay to be me.
Dr. Tavis, that is like literally what community does. It rewires your brain. When we talk, MomLink talks always about like collaboration over competition. Then people will challenge us, like, well, what is really, collaboration over competition? Or people will challenge, like, yeah, right, there's no competition. And it's funny, like, I don't know, something happened in the MomLink community. I won't lie, I've had, that natural instinct to be like, why her and not me? How come she's got that and I don't? Or, like that scarcity mindset. But when you're immersed in community, you don't even know what's happening, but you wake up one day and all of a sudden your mind doesn't go that place. Your mind goes to, oh my goodness, Dr. Tavis has been running her community for and her business for 10 plus years. Holy, if Dr. Tavis can do it, we can do it too. I can do it too, right? And that's what happens in community. That scarcity mindset really starts to diminish and dilute itself because you see the power of community. You see the power of being stronger together. We're sitting here. We have 2 same communities that we run. Dr. Tavis runs a community for female entrepreneurs. And you would think, well, Crystal, why are you going live with another community that does the same thing as you? Why wouldn't I? We're talking to the same women, right? It just makes sense, right? And I don't know if I would have been able to do that had I not had community at the forefront of what the MomLink is building. And literally rewired my brain. And we talk all the time about what entrepreneurs need to learn. But one of the things we need to talk more about is what do we need to unlearn? And we need to unlearn that competition. We need to unlearn that scarcity mindset. We need to unlearn on pretending to be someone that we're not, right? And when we do those things and when we immerse ourselves in community, those things that you're working on from years of conditioning in our society actually become a lot easier to rewire and unlearn. So I love this conversation. Dr. Tavis, this has been incredible. And to be honest, you gave me shivers because I forgot that moment when we had conflict in the MomLink community. And I came to stage and Camille, brought it up today and you shared. And I will tell you, when I shared what we talked about today, make sure when you're sharing, you're not sharing from a place of wounds, right? And you're not bleeding on people. And that day when I was so nervous to share because I didn't want to do that. I was afraid as a leader. It wasn't that I didn't want to be authentic. It was because I didn't want to bleed on my community, right? But in that moment, it was because of my community who knew what was going on. They're like, this isn't bleeding, Crystal. This is taking something that happened and using it not against the community, but using it for the community, to propel the community, to bring us together, to show the power of what community really does in your business. So thank you, Dr. Tavis. Thank you for that day. Thank you for hearing us. Thank you for seeing us. Thank you for tapping in and, proving that when we share, we are not healing ourselves. We are not just working in community, but we are touching the lives of people we have no idea. There's a ripple effect. It's that butterfly effect that happens.
Butterfly. That's why we're butterflies. I butterfly up here. It is so true. Dr. Tavis, that last little bit there, you summed up absolutely everything. Like common unity, right there. You summed it right up in the passion, in the conflicts, in the solution, the resolution, and just being who we need to be when we show up and not looking at. You know what I loved? It was when you said about showing up even on days when you're feeling as if you can't. And if that one day that you show up and there's only one other person beside you, that was who you were meant to show up to be with at that time. And we as business women have to really understand patience is a virtue. Everything that we're building, it is going to come into fruition, but it requires us to keep our tenacity, keep our strength, and to know that through consistency, repetition, and even though my 6-year-old, who I tell every time and when I'm on lives not to come and give me a hug, but he always has to come and give me a hug, come. It's Murphy's Law. The whole thing is that we're still showing up and that we know that it's just the law. When we show up and repetition, look, we did come out walking and talking out of the womb. It took consistency, repetition, and thank you, honey, and us not giving up on ourselves. And that's what we need to do in business. And that's what we need to do in our personal life. I'm going to say that. I'm going to reverse that. That's what we need to do in our personal life and to build up in our business, right? We got so many times we're going forefront, going to join a community. I'm going to join this community because I want my sales to go up. But if you're joining the community for instead of just the sales part of it, instead of just the how part of it, when we're talking about mindset, manifesting, and all that kind of great stuff, we're always like, don't focus on the how, just focus on being in the present and all that stuff. It's the same thing with business. And when we're getting into communities, the way how I see it is, what lessons am I going to learn? Who am I going to connect with? What life skills am I going to even attach with? That's what I take it as. And then the ripple effect happens. Me, consistency, repetition, and discipline. The how, the sales, me showing up, people will know the confidence, that trust that you were talking about earlier on. It's built. And then the courage to be confident, to stand up in our own power. So I loved what you had to say. I loved how you took off your glasses and said, I'm going to work today. She just got me going. She not only got the emotion. You have to remember something. Us humans, we have the best features in the world that no other creature in this world has, that God has blessed us with. And it is the ability to have that emotion, to have that intuition, that creativity, that compassion, that conviction, that glory, that faith. No other creature, even though dolphins are quite up there, they don't have that. That is our gift and our beauty. And the fact when you took off those glasses, that just, again, affirmed the power of a leader and a community. This is that we're using our blessings to bless each other and elevate. So that's my own piece. Thank you. That was a great conversation. And, as I said, this is Let's Talk About a Corner. So, if you're going to get Let's Talk About It with Camille, you're going to get Let's Talk About It. And I do need to get my lashes done. Get them done today. Look at them.
Dr. Tavis, before we sign off, let us know, where can we find out about your community? What do you have up and coming? Let the MomLink community know where they can find Dr. Tavis and where they can join you as well.
Cool beans. Thank you so very much. And thank you for this community. So I feel like I have joined another community. So I am on Clubhouse. I have 2 rooms that I do. I do a 5 a.m. soaking session, 5 a.m. where you come and you spend your time with God. We do an intro. You have about 30 minutes to just worship, journal, exercise, whatever you're going to do. And then we come back with a word. Tuesdays and Thursdays, I do in my Business Strategies Made Simple, my millionaire mentor and I on Tuesdays, we do a segment about taxes, finances. And he's a millionaire in real life. I've known him over 20 years. And so we have that segment because I think people need business strategies and they shouldn't have to pay for every little thing. So that's on Tuesdays at 9 and on Saturdays. I'm in Social with Rocky's room. I'm really big on Clubhouse. I do have Instagram, Ask Dr. Tavis, but I'm getting ready to pivot back into Tavis Taylor Talks because you know what? I got something to say, right? And so, but I am on, just look me up on Clubhouse. That's the easiest space. Ask Dr. Tavis on Instagram. So I am out and about, and I'll find a day and a time that I can come and support the Mom Link as well and bring my people over there so that they can get some of the tools. And once I see what your schedule is, I'll be able to send it out to my people and my community. And thank you for that lesson, Crystal.
I actually have an ask, sorry, really quickly for Dr. Tavis.
Yeah.
So we thank you for everything that you have brought to us today and the support that you continuously give all of us women. And we would like to also extend we're having a summit on October 6th and 7th. It's also virtual to your community too as well. It's completely free. If they are in the New York, New Jersey area, come on by. We are having it in person too as well. And they have opportunity if they have any vendor or any type of products or services that they want to be able to display out there. We are all about bringing all communities collectively together, whether it be virtual or online, so we can not only just network, but it's about building our businesses, get better understanding. It's not about, oh, you're part of this community, that part of me. No. It's about us as being the women and hearing us roar collectively. Let's do it. So I would love to extend that. I send you over the link,
Please.
to you, and would love to have and see you all there. Definitely in person, but of course, if you can't, virtually is also available.
Absolutely. I would be honored to send that out. I'll pin a link to the group. Yes, absolutely. Thank you, ladies.
And Dr. Tavis, I'm going to say we're going to have to invite you back for another Women Let's Talk About It corner because this was an awesome conversation. I enjoyed getting to know you a little bit more, learning about your community. And I've been inspired during the last 40 minutes listening to you as a leader and a woman who is a seasoned entrepreneur who's been in it for a minute. Honestly, you inspired me today. So thank you so much. We'll have to invite you back soon, and let's find ways on how we can bring our communities together, collaborate, because we all know, and I know Dr. Tavis, you know, we are stronger together.
Yes, we are. Absolutely.
All right. Thank you, everybody who joined, who's watching the replay. Definitely tap in with Dr. Tavis, catch her on Clubhouse, follow her on Instagram. Do not miss out on this absolutely incredible woman who is inspiring other female entrepreneurs, other mompreneurs, and literally walking the talk of women supporting women in business. Bye for now.